MEP graduates to be kindly seated on your right. لمنتسبي البرنامج التنفيذي الرجاء الجلوس في مقاعدكم المخصصة على يمين القاعة. Please rise for the national anthem. تفضلوا بالجلوس. Please be seated. أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الضيوف الكرام، السيدات والسادة، صباحكم خير. أود أن أرحب بكم جميعاً اليوم للاحتفال بتخريج الدفعة الأولى من البرنامج التنفيذي لجامعة محمد بن زايد للذكاء الاصطناعي. اسمي أميرة باوزير، يشرفني تقديم هذا الحدث المميز. أدرس حالياً ماجستير العلوم في تخصص تعلم الآلة هنا في الجامعة، وأعمل في بايوميديا لاب، حيث نسعى نحو إيجاد حلول مبتكرة لمواجهة تحديات قطاع الرعاية الصحية باستخدام تطبيقات الذكاء الاصطناعي. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like to welcome you all today to celebrate the graduation of the first cohort of the MBZUAI Executive Program. My name is Amira Bawazir. I'll be hosting this special event. I am a master's student in machine learning here at the university, where I work in the Biomedia Lab, where we investigate real-world healthcare problems using AI. My research focuses on segmenting COVID-19 infection from lung CT scans, the 3D medical images. We hope that this research will help in the prevention and control of the virus spread. And this is why I'm so proud to be part of the MBZUAI. The university does not only offer us, the students, all the academic tools to excel in what we do, but it also provides us with the perfect platforms to enhance our practical skills. It gives us an opportunity to be part of influential research projects that benefit humanity in the UAE and beyond. Without a doubt, the university is supporting me to achieve my own ambition to be part of the development of the AI domain in the UAE. And I look forward to participating in the industry to deploy my knowledge and skills as a machine learning expert and researcher. MBZUAI empowers its students from multiple aspects. In fact, part of faculty, researchers, and students took part in the first cohort of the executive program, which gave them a chance to work alongside CEOs, directors general, ambassadors, and executive vice presidents from public and private sectors. All participants learned about the possibilities of AI, which support social and economic growth in the UAE. This program demonstrates the university's central role in positioning Abu Dhabi and the UAE as an international hub for AI excellence in research and innovation. The program was launched in October 2021, and today we gather to celebrate the 41 participants of its first cohort. Now, I would like to invite MBZUAI President, Professor Eric Zink, to speak in greater detail on the extent of the program and the university's commitment to AI, research, technology, and capacity building. Please welcome Professor Eric.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Amira, for the excellent opening. Honestly, I feel a bit nervous, but I want to begin by thanking all the distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, Mr. Mansouri, General Mike, Dr. Mohammed Al-Kuwaiti, many of my old friends, many of my dear colleagues, to make to this excellent event in the morning. This is by no means a small event. This is the first ever graduation ceremony we had on this campus. And I, as the president of the university, cannot be more proud to chair this event and also to greet all the distinguished guests. So we are here to celebrate the graduation of our first cohort of the MBZUAI executive program. And this program, was commissioned under the direct guidance from His Highness Mohammed bin Zayed and also His Excellency Dr. Sultan, our chairman of the Board of Trustees. And I want to begin by really congratulating all of you, for working with us, for working very diligently, on the materials and programs until completion. This is by no means a small feat, right? Let me say a few words about the program itself. Over a very short span of only 3 months, we were programming, 6, sections covering a wide spectrum of AI topics, starting from the foundation of artificial intelligence, then to different topic areas in natural language processing, in machine learning, in computer vision, and then in robotics, and then in policy and ethics, and so on. These are very, very advanced and difficult topics. And also, given that you are all holding important functions in your organization, we originally worried that it is maybe too much, to load you with such a heavy workload. But I'm sure that my colleagues and also the invited lecturers, I managed to bring to our classroom to teach, were all amazed by the enthusiasm and by the level of preparation and readiness from all of you to receive this class. I know that I need to say many apologies to your family members because we dragged you out of your precious time from the weekends and from the evenings. But I hope this experience proved to be rewarding. So for that, I really thank you, for working with us to make this program a great success. And I congratulate again, for reaching to this success of completing the program. Thank you very much. I think there are many reasons that we come together to form this first cohort. But I guess one of the best reasons that you all take such a great effort to join the class is because your thirst for knowledge, right? And I want to speak a few words about knowledge because this is sitting at the heart of the function and the duty of a university. What is the most scariest thing that could happen to a society? Is that war, natural disaster, or pandemic? In my opinion, the worst and the most scary thing is the inaccessibility to knowledge. Because without knowledge, you will be underprepared, you will be short of means to deal with any challenges, right? Just as we see, in the current world, we've been facing many challenges every day, and we have to be prepared for that. So knowledge is what we want to bring to you in this cohort and in this class. And that brings me to reflect a little bit about how to do it and why it is important to have such a class. If we all recall, one of the darkest age in human civilization is the medieval age, where knowledge was deprived from normal citizens and even the rulers and the governors, because at that point, there is just one book that is allowed to be read in the Western world, and even that one book was held in a few people's hand, right? But by contrast, in the Middle East, the Islamic civilization was actually a lighthouse, of knowledge. We see the Wisdom House of Baghdad. We actually see many, great, archives and knowledge preserved and expanded and further increased, through, the Arabic Empire and also the Islamic scholars, and spread them around the world. I reflect on this history, and I really feel, this land should be, reclaiming, its prestige, in the world, competition and also, contribution to new knowledge. In the past few hundred years, there has been a geopolitical shift of innovation. So far, we've experienced already 4 industrial revolutions, right? Beginning from the steam engine, and then the electricity, and then the semiconductor, and now we are in the 4th industrial revolution, powered by AI. And that's why, there is an opportunity here that we are at the forefront of this new industrial revolution. And this cohort is meant to bring, our leaders and our key stakeholders and our citizens, to be familiar from day one at the early stage, of this advanced technology, so that we can once again stay at the head and in front of the global competition. So what is AI? Allow me to say a few words as well about, AI. Artificial intelligence, is what brings us together to this class, and also what's formed the foundation of this university, right? And it is fair to say that this word AI still is elusive, to many people in the world, right? To a scientist, it means the study of the mathematical and technical foundations. And to engineers, it means creating tools, solving problems for daily life. And to businessmen, that means a lot of business opportunities. And for policymakers and for the general public, what it is that a dream for the future that can offer everything we want, or it is, a very powerful, but also, potentially risky technique that has to be managed, has to be, carefully controlled and developed, right? So I think this cohort hopefully are giving, our attendees and also we faculty ourselves a better picture of what is the demand and what is the potential and what is the responsibility, that we should, carry to develop AI and to use AI and also to use AI to serve people. So that brings me to, the very function of MBZUAI, and also, hopefully the value we'll provide to you so far in this cohort, and the value we hope to provide in the future for the population, for the society. MBZUAI, as the name stands, is a research university dedicated to artificial intelligence research and computer science research, right? So a university, what is a university? I had a good fortune to study in the University of California, Berkeley, and then worked in Carnegie Mellon. I want to quote the 2 mottos of these 2 schools so that we can reflect on what is the function of a university, right? The motto of UC Berkeley is, "Let there be light," because the responsibility of the university is to bring knowledge to light. So that basically suggests a key function of the university. And then in Carnegie Mellon University, there is another motto, which is very down to earth by Andrew Carnegie, which says, "My heart is at work." That tells people how to basically serve that function in the university. You have to put your heart onto it. So I'm here to help building this great university to achieve both those goals, and also to hopefully exceed the expectation from the general public and also from our leadership to really serve the country well. So that's why we were very, very committed, and we worked very hard to put together not only the MEP program, but also many graduate level research and engineering programs to produce talents, to prepare leaders so that they can play out big functions for the society. So now that you will be receiving a diploma from us to certify that you've got a profound knowledge already of AI, I imagine there will be big undertakings in front of you. But I believe that is not the end of our program. It is the beginning of a new journey. What I hope to see is that we are growing a crop of dandelions, and with the wind, you all spread to your respective very important positions and roles, and then you broadcast our message and also carry the knowledge that you learned from our program to your colleagues, and then even come back to get a recharge when you have time or when you see a need, so that we can serve you even better in our future endeavors and other roles. So with that, I want to conclude my opening remark. Again, I want to reiterate this is my first speech for a graduation class of my own university. So I cannot be more proud of doing this and having the privilege standing here to address you. And I want to thank you for your trust and your support for my work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Eric, for your insightful words. Next, I would like to invite His Excellency Mohammed Al-Kuwaiti, MEP Class Council Chair, to share with us the participants' experience and views on how the MEP contributes to the UAE's growth and sustainable development.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Professor Eric, thank you very much for your inspirational speech. General Mike, thank you for coming. Your Excellency Mansour, and distinguished guests. I'm really pleased to be here with you all. And as a matter of fact, I prepared my speech. But then when I saw Professor Eric actually speaking out of his mind, I just put that with Dr. Ahmed, who was telling me, "Are you memorizing this?" I told him no. But let me speak from my mind. Let me really send the message that Professor Eric is emphasizing on here. On behalf of my colleagues here, on behalf of my friends who actually been with you in the past 6 months, we really appreciating all of this efforts that been actually done to bring us to this moment. As a graduates, as a first cohort graduates of MBZ, University of Artificial Intelligence. A name that will stay with us. Mohammed bin Zayed University. Mohammed bin Zayed is the role model that we all actually trying to achieve and be able to at least fulfill some of his vision. Today, with this university, with many of the inspirational aspects that Professor Eric and the great faculty who actually helped us across all of these 6 months in preparing us to know more about knowledge, which knowledge and science really build those civilizations and really build those generations. So when a new generation comes, they will remember us, how we really changed that aspects across all of this fourth industrial revolutions that we are living at. UAE is going through a huge digital transformation, and we all know that. The whole world, as a matter of fact, is going through that digital transformations. And with that digital transformations, the thing that will really distinguish us from others is the benefiting from these data, great data. And that's what we learned across all of these 6 months. Data could be actually supporting our decision making across all of the sectors that we actually touched upon, from national security to transportations to social science to healthcare to many of the educational aspects that we actually been discussing every day on those lectures, on those brainstorming, on those critical thinking, on those critical ideas that the whole team has actually worked with us on many of those workshops. It's really opened our minds of how this data could really change across many of the routine things that we are actually doing in our routine life or work, as a matter of fact. That digital transformation, vision of our leadership, could be fulfilled by this university and by specifically that program. We are all busy with our life. We are all busy with a whole aspect that we actually get messed up with. Having this time, even if it's on a weekend, as we all been actually attending those great classes, it really allows us to build that knowledge of how we can take this and really not only execute it in our premises or in our basically authorities or centers or ministries, but also to extend it to the whole nation. And that's great examples the team has actually worked on and really built with the great faculty here of how to execute those, and will definitely make a difference. If it's not already actually made some differences in some of the universities or in some of the ministries that we have. From my humble opinion and experience, as I work in a national security field, and we deal with many of the cybersecurity aspects. Today, machine learning, artificial intelligence, as well as many of this supervised and unsupervised learning that we taught or we learned across many of this, it really allows us to swiftly, easily go through many of this great traffic, cyber traffic that comes to us. There is no one person can go through all of this data. What we learned on that is a machine that can easily join hand in hand with the people and allow to fulfill many of those missions that we are executing across all of our routine job. And this is what really allows us to be in this program, be part of this program. The first cohort of this program that raised not only the name of our leader, Mohammed bin Zayed, but also the nation that we want to fulfill and really work together with our faculties in executing some of the great programs the whole team has worked on. Programs that will really change many of the things that we have. Allow me here as well to thank the faculty who've been with us for this 6 months and really worked with us hard in fulfilling great opportunities that we might miss here and there. They really taught us the patience and the fundamental science of using this. I remember Professor Jordan, who actually came and actually taught us 2 or some of those lectures, where not only we were very, from my perspective as a matter of fact, very critical as well as technical in the field of AI. What he brought to us, how to change this into a business perspective and how to make it actually profitable, not only for the nation itself, but for humanity. It's a lifestyle that we need to really adopt. And that digital transformation is here with us to stay. So we really appreciate everything that's done by this great faculty and our appreciations, and we really raise our hat for you. Thank you very much for all of these aspects. Allow me as well Thank you. Allow me as well to, again, emphasize on my colleagues, friends, brothers who've been with us on this. Today, this digital transformation is continuing to stay with us for the long run. And the vision of our leadership is to go towards artificial intelligent nation. And we've been pioneer in many of those aspects. UAE is number one in many of the things we have. I don't want to start ranking many of this. And that's our vision, and that's our leadership vision. So what we taught, or what we learned from here, we will not only teach it to others, we will not only implement it to our ministries, but we will actually take it and raise it to our nation and really implement it and try to be, again, number one, and even educate our generations to come, our kids, who are maybe thinking of games, playing games all night, but that's really a way of how we approach them. That's an artificial intelligence. That's things that we can really customize and tailor their thinking to leverage this for their life to come. We get criticized usually when we say those games is an addiction for the kids. And I myself, actually, from that perspective, against that point. Those kids are really learning something great in many of this. For operational perspective, for example, and you can ask General Mike in this perspective as well. There are drones that flies across many nations, controlled by operators who are staying here. And the way they actually control that, either by virtual reality, by augmented reality, or by joystick, that they control many of these aspects. And the way they do it with the synchronization of their eye, of their ears, from their body movement, as well as thinking, it's really take them to a level where they can basically accomplish that mission. So many of this, not only for us, for our generation to come, would love to leverage what we learn, would love to actually work on these aspects for our generation to come to build up a number one nation, and that's our goal. And finally, I really thank all of you, our families who actually stayed and really bared with us many of this in a patient. Our leadership who actually built this university to be, again, a place where it paves and furnished our future, not for us also, but for many aspects in this nation and to the world. And being a hub, not only from a data perspective, but also from a great minds who could help other nations to raise their awareness and build their artificial intelligence capabilities, that's where it will start. MBZ, University of AI, is our hub to actually go to the world. With that, thank you very much, and really appreciate being here with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your speech. Now, let's go back and see what the 41 participants have experienced through the upcoming video. It showcases key moments from this one-of-a-kind program. I would like to ask His Excellency Mansour al-Mansouri, Group Chief Operating Officer of G42 and MBZUAI's Board of Trustees member, and Professor Eric Zing to join me on stage to honor the graduates. Graduates, please come on stage on the right, take your certificates, and continue off the stage to the left. يرجى من المنتسبين الصعود على المسرح من الجهة اليمنى وتسلم التكريم والنزول من الجهة اليسرى. مستر عباس البلوشي. مستر عبد الله الشامسي. مستر عبد العزيز الزرعوني. مستر عبد الله الحمادي. مستر عبد الله الأشرم. مستر عبد الله السبوسي. مستر عبد الله المرزوقي. مستر أحمد باغوم. مستر أحمد الشامسي. مستر عماد الميسري. مستر فيصل الكعبي. مستر غانم الهاجري. مستر حمد العامري. مستر هزاع بني مالك. مس هند العامري. مستر حميد الكعبي. دكتور جمال الكعبي. مستر خالد الظاهري. مس ليلى السويدي. On behalf of Mr. Majid al-Mismar, Mr. Sultan al-Mismar, دكتور مريم كتيت. دكتور محمد الكويتي. مستر محمد الزرعوني. مستر محمد المكتوم. دكتور ناصر النعيمي. دكتور نضال الطنيجي. مستر عمر المرزوقي. مس رجا المزروعي. مستر سيف المزروعي. دكتور سالم الكعبي. مس سارة البريكي. دكتور شيخة الظاهري. Ms. Shayma Al-Awadi. Ms. Sumaya Saadi. Ms. Thuraya Al-Hashimi. On behalf of Mr. Osama Dahabiye, Ms. Salwa. Congratulations to all the graduates. Thank you, Your Excellency Mansour Al-Mansouri. Now, Professor Irk will stay on stage and speak about the UAE Strategic National Challenge projects and the announcement of the winning team, and will also announce the second edition of the MBZUAI Executive Program. Please welcome Professor Irk.
Thank you all so much. It's an amazing event. As a professor, as an educator, the most proud thing is to graduate and hand over the diploma to the students. So thank you for giving me that moment. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the major goals, of this cohort is not just to learn, but also to form a community, and also to use that community to brainstorm and generate ideas, right? So now we are going to a point where we're going to see what has happened, to this community. I'm happy to report that, during the 3 months of learning and brainstorming and collaboration and challenging each other, we managed to form several teams to together look into the UAE Strategic National Challenge, okay? And the rule of the game is that every team will identify what they believe to be the greatest, most important, and also the thing that is most relevant to their own organization as a UAE challenge, and then come up with a proposal and a presentation to the rest of the team, to share ideas, to receive comments, and then to, most importantly, go further and implement some of this project with the help of each other and also with the support of our university faculty and students. So I'm very happy to show an amazing panel of statistics. There are altogether 36 ideas generated. Look at that. We have only 41 members in a cohort. This is almost like one idea per member, which is amazing I don't see that in my graduate class, by the way. Okay? And then even more amazingly, you can see how many interactions that has been generated during the brainstorming phase of the project, which converged to roughly, which actually happened in roughly 37 meetings. And then, to the convergence on the other side of the panel, you will see that we, at the end of the day, ended with 8 major projects, each owned by a particular group with the support of faculty and students of the university. And among the 8, in fact, we faced a very, very difficult challenge because our goal is to select just one winner, which is almost impossible because all of them are so great. Just give you a glimpse of what these projects are, and you can understand why I say it is difficult to select. These are the projects which covers every strategically important challenges in the nation, including, for example, data and digital services, healthcare, national security, environmental safety, and others, right? And I have to say that I was not only myself, all the speakers that we invited, from major universities and organizations around the world, were blown away, by the ideas and also by the way they were presented by our cohort members. So, we actually ended up with a very difficult task of selecting the winner. So I took the advantage of being the president. I excused myself from that tough job. I handed it to the team of faculty and the supporting staff who helped me to run the program, and report me back a winner. Let's see who that winner is. The winner is Echo 360. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the team for an excellent job in conceiving the idea, in fleshing out the details, and also in presenting the ideas to the rest of the cohort and also the faculty and the students. But equally, I also want to congratulate all the other 7 teams who produced also, I would say, to me, equally exciting ideas. Therefore, the university will be taking advantage of your product and start to seek and reach out to you for collaboration and to find a way about how we can support your work, because I believe all of these projects are very important, not only within your organization, but also for the country, even for humanity. If we can bring technologies and new innovations and the new economical productivities out of this project and let them just radiate out of the country and impact the world society, I wouldn't be surprised for that outcome. So with that, we're going to have a small ceremony to give a trophy to the winner.
Please allow me to welcome the winning team. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Al-Kuwaiti. His Excellency Engineer Majid Al-Mismar. Mr. Abdullah Al-Hammadi. Mr. Osama Dahabiye. Dr. Ahmed Dabbagh. Dr. Ibrahim Al-Makki. Mr. Sultan Abu Ghazal.
All right. Again, I want to congratulate the team for a wonderful project presentation and also for sharing with all of us the great idea. Before I close, I have two important missions to complete. First, as I mentioned several times, this program is not possible with a wholehearted, all-out support from our staff, our faculty, and our students. I want to name a few. Our program director, Ms. Decky Liang, who has been helping me very closely in conceiving the program, in putting together all the logistics, and also you'll probably see her very often all over the place to really help you finding your ways in the study. So thank you very much for the contribution. I have a long list of faculty that I probably cannot possibly read all their names given the time limit. These are, our most proud, how shall I say, asset of campus. A university is not a university without without faculty and the students. I believe, we are going to grow in the future with such a wonderful seed, intellectuals and diligent workers. And also our students has played an important role, in supporting every aspect of the programming and logistics. And they are sometimes visible and sometimes invisible. But here I want to take the opportunity to thank all of them, the students, the staff, the faculty, and all the MBZUAI citizens who participated in this event. Thank you very much for your hard work. And I hope that we can keep up and do it better next time. Thank you very much. The next thing I want to announce is what's next. So the Cohort 1 sets a great start, for both, the community and also for our university. Therefore, we're going to continue. we've already received an overwhelming enthusiasm to join the second cohort and a future cohort. We were able to admit an excellent subset of the applicants into our cohort 2 already, and which are 45 participants out of I don't know how many, but much larger numbers. And we're going to continue into the third cohort and the fourth cohort in the future to really provide our service to a wider community. So our second cohort will be starting soon. As a matter of fact, it will be starting this month as the first orientation. And then in the future, we're going to proceed with the modules and also the networking events. And I'd love to see all of you back to join many of the network events, because as I said, this event or this program is not about just a one-time learning. It's a perpetual learning, lifelong learning process. And also it is a community building process. So I'd love to see you next time as alumni of the school. And I do expect you to come back supporting us to build future programs and also the future infrastructure and foundations of the university to make it a great institution for the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Eric. Before we conclude today's activities, I would like to thank all the speakers, the first cohort graduates, and distinguished guests who joined us this morning. We have been delighted to host and bring together so many global organizations from different fields within the private and public sectors. And now, to capture the magic of this moment, we would like to take a group photo. Would the MAP graduates please join us on the stage?